Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another YouTube video. It is your boy, the Hungry Hornet, for yet another riveting exploration into the world of motor bicycles. But today's video is a little bit different. Today we're talking about motovlogging. Yes, motovlogging, the thing I'm doing right now. So we're not actually talking about motorcycles, we're talking about vlogging and YouTube. A little bit of background basically. So how do you start up a motovlogging channel? Now, I'm not exactly the world's most famous motovlogger. I mean, there's a lot more famous motovloggers out there, but this year obviously I've kind of established myself in quite a good niche. I think people will start to know who I am in certain sectors of the motorcycling world, and we've all got our styles, and this is my style. I like to do videos off the fly. I don't have any subjects really, I just waffle on whilst I ride my trusty Hornet into the countryside. And today's no different, you know, we just keep it cash and keep it relevant and entertaining, hopefully. I don't know if, you know, I sometimes look at these videos and think, why do people watch this shit? I've got to be one of the most boring people on earth, but hey ho, people like it. If that's what they like, and I love making them. I love making these videos to look back and just see what's what. So let's talk about motovlogging. So how did this channel start? So this channel started in, I believe it was June 21st, I believe, 2024. Now, funny enough, I'd been riding a motorcycle for a year before I'd started the channel, but I decided to start the channel as I passed my motorcycle test. Now, looking back, I had a GoPro camera. The second I bought a motorbike and passed my CVT in 2023, I bought a GoPro camera, strapped it onto my helmet, and it wasn't at this angle, it was like at the angle on top of your head, like proper on top. It was rubbish anyway. But I basically kept that on, and I'd film my rides to sort of get better. So I used it as an aid to learn how to ride a motorcycle. So I'd go out, I'd record the whole thing. I wouldn't be chatting or anything like that. I wouldn't be doing anything like that. I'd just put it on my head and I'd go out. And I'd go home, and me and my wife and my son actually would sit down, we'd watch my ride, and we'd critique the ride and see where I'd made mistakes. This was all preparing me for my test. And then I ended up taking 4 tests because I failed 3 of them. I think I got way too into my head about it. It's not that difficult, ladies and gents. Just be safe, be considerate, and follow the highway code. That's all it is. That's all it is. But I put in my head that I was like, oh my god, I got to pass this, because I felt I needed to pass it, because I needed a full license so I could take the motorway. At the time I was working for a company that had a headquarters up in Bristol, and I used to go up to Bristol regularly, maybe once or twice a week, part of my job, to go and do stuff up there as well. And when I was on L plates, I had to take like the back roads, and it took 2.5 hours from where I lived to get to Bristol. It's unbelievable, but it's actually like 49 to 56 minutes usually on the motorway. So I was like, geez, I've got to get a bike license. So I was pinning all my hopes and dreams on this bike license. So that's why I got the GoPro. I didn't really care what sort of GoPro it was. It was one of the newest ones at the time. It was GoPro 10, I believe it was, or 9. I used it, recorded stuff, and then I started thinking, oh, maybe I'll record some videos. And then I thought, you know, I might start a YouTube channel, but I just never did. I just thought, you know, who's going to watch me? Who's going to watch little old me on my motorbike? How do I do it? Blah blah blah. And then there's the cost and all that. So I thought, you know, I won't bother. Then I passed my test, and then I uploaded a video which had some horrible, you know, free sort of free to use, copyright free background music. It wasn't horrible, the music, but the video was horrible. It was music from Copyright Sounds, I believe, no copyright sounds, which I do use on occasion still. They're a good outfit, and they are literally, it's free to use for creators. You can use the background music, and I just did this video where I edited it with that horrible on top of the helmet cam. Oh, that's nice. This on top of the helmet cam sort of thing. Rubbish. You just couldn't see very well. It was all very distorted. I didn't know anything about like bit rates for the video, resolution, what sort of settings to, you know, what software, all that sort of stuff. So I uploaded it. I got like 300 views, and people liked it. I was like, oh my god, you know. So there you go. And shortly after, I released another video where I just basically talked about my well, basically I talked about my fails. How many times I failed my mod 1 and 2 test, That video got like nearly 5,000 views. There's a second video got 5,000 views, lots of likes and that. You know, 100 subscribers or so. And before I know it, I had like 110 subscribers and 20. I was like, oh my god, wow. And then I released another video, like maybe a month later, where I was just talking about a really big trip I took on my CB300R. The channel used to be called CB300 Challenger, I think that's what it was originally called. And that's what I called it due to the fact that I was riding my CB300. Now, there's a little bit of a pattern here, isn't there? I seem to change the name of my channel depending on the bike I'm riding. Fast forward, I mean, maybe a couple of videos where I think I went out on, like, to Dunstan Mump, I think it was, visited the derelict, wasn't a castle, I got corrected actually by someone on the video. It was like some sort of church or something like that. And then I bought the Hornet, and then I released a first impressions video, which to date has 10,000 views on it now. So that's how the Hungry Hornet was born. Then I changed my name to the Hungry Hornet. Don't know why. I think because it was what's the word? It had alliteration, didn't it? So Hungry Hornet, HH, like Hulk Hogan, brother. And that was it. That was the channel. There was no sort of, like, I believe I was at work at the time, and I asked my mate John, Butler John, hey John, I'm going to change the name of my channel. What should I call it? And I think, if I remember correctly, I think he came up with the idea. I believe he came up with the idea for it. Pretty certain he did. I'm pretty certain he came up with Hungry Hornet as the name. And then he slapped some stickers on my bike, which I've still got to this day. They're there. The rest is history. And then I started releasing videos a little bit more frequently, maybe twice a month. Bits and bobs here, bits and bobs there. Nothing serious. But at the time, I was narrating my videos post-production. So I was narrating them. I was basically narrating them with a microphone, quite a good quality microphone, but I didn't have an inbuilt microphone. I didn't know how it worked, and I had to get like a special mod for my GoPro, media mod I think it's called, and then I had to put like an inbuilt microphone, but it had to be a certain microphone. The first microphone I had terrible quality, but it was better than narrating it post, because then I could get live reactions like this, like what you're hearing now is me on the bike. You know, I can throttle, you know, I can react to everything. I can be like, oh look, there's a tree, and that obviously does a lot of good for your videos. It makes the videos come out a lot better than narrating them post-production. Some videos you can narrate post-production, I think. You know, if you're doing some sort of documentary style on something, then yeah, add some post-production, you know, narration. I think that adds a bit. And then I got a better microphone, and then I upgraded to the Hero 13, and that was it. I started releasing videos maybe once a week, and then the schedule went up to twice a week, then 3 times a week. And then it was only really October this year, like just gone, 2025, so we play around with the channel, and it'd be getting like 200, 300 subscribers. Some of the videos got, you know, 500 views, some of them got 1,000 views, and then I get 20 subscribers here, 10 subscribers there. Then we ended up getting lots of short views, because I started using a short editing platform to add captions to my videos, make them shorter and release them in clip form for Facebook, YouTube and TikTok. It's only recently I've started actually putting them on Facebook and TikTok, but that skyrocketed my views, it skyrocketed my my engagement, skyrocketed my subscribers, and by, I believe it was, if I remember, December, we got accepted into the YouTube partner program at 500 subs, and then by January we got accepted into the full YouTube partner program at 1,000 subs, and the rest is history. It's February now. I think I've got close to nearly 1,200 subs on the channel. Engagement is high, and it was a lot of trial and error on you know, motovlogging. It's like, you know, trying to keep the content consistent with what people want to watch is one thing, but one thing I have realized as a content creator on YouTube is just do what you want as well. You know, just because if you're forcing yourself to do like videos that you don't want to do, it's going to come across on the way that you make them. You know, you're not going to be as engaging, There's some videos that I'm very annoyed that I released that I shouldn't have released, and I thought, you know, criticising and thinking, oh, I didn't sound very engaging in there, didn't do that very well, but they've done really well. There's some videos that I'm very proud of, like for instance I did this video where I got a Grom, and I decided to try and beat the estimated time of arrival that the sat nav was telling me it would take to get to my mate John's house. And me and John had arranged for him to sort of like have some sort of welcome committee for me when I get there, and John had pulled out like a makeshift sort of like finished line sign and everything, and we're racing through, and we basically beat the clock. It was a fantastic video, high stakes, all sorts. It did shit. It did no views pretty much. And I just upsets me greatly because I think it's such a good video, and it's one of my favourite videos, one of my proudest videos I've ever done. It just didn't do any views. And then I'll have a video where I'm talking about like some silly crap, and then that'll do really well. And it's like, well, you just don't know. So YouTube is a strange beast, and you know, doing motovlogging in 2026 is very hard. There's no, it's quite, I wouldn't say it's saturated, but there's obviously a very big contingent of people that already do this for, you know, for a living. You know, it's you won't be the first one. You got a lot of competition. You got a lot of people out there that are also motovlogging, and there's some people that put some absolute really big time effort into their videos, which I'm not saying I don't, but what I mean is, like, you know, it's a big production piece. You know, there's a lot of different cameras being used, you know, like different setups. There's like the secondary cameras, third cameras, there's microphones that exhaust, there's 360 views, there's all sorts, there's drones in the air, there's all sorts, you know. And it's like, you know, are you going to be able to compete with that from day one? No, but you need to find your style. Now I'd love to shoot stuff like that, you know, with drones and, you know, secondary cameras, but it isn't me. It's not, doesn't really lend itself to the style that I'm looking for. Like the style that I've gone for as a motovlogger is just a bloke on a bike talking some nonsense to some friends at a bar. You know, that's all it is. You know, that's all it is. You know, not every video is going to hit, not every video is going to be a success, but I don't really care. And that's the magic of it. It's not about, I don't want to become a millionaire, I don't want to become, you know, rich, I don't want to, you know, would I love to make a solid living on YouTube? Of course. That's every content creator's dream, is to make money on YouTube enough to sort of like quit their job. But I'm fortunate, I've said this before many times, I have a great job, a great career. You know, this is just the icing on the cake. I get to make some money on the side doing what I love to do, and that's ride bikes in the British countryside, across Europe, doing, you know, talking silly nonsense. And, you know, and I'd like to take it a bit further this year or next year, and, you know, get into reviewing certain bikes, getting into, like, I'd love a brand partnership with Honda or something like that. I'd love, obviously, you know, there's all things that we strive for. I'd love to grow the channel so it, you know, reaches 10,000 subscribers, you know. I mean, I'd love to do a lot of things, but it's not pinning everything on it. It's not like I'm creating videos with the sole purpose to attract subscribers. I'm not clickbaiting, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just being me. And if being me is, you know, entertaining enough for people, they'll subscribe, and if it's not, it's not. So if I had to give any advice for the motovloggers out there, or potential motovloggers, is, you know, all you need to set up is a camera, a good quality microphone, plug it in directly into your action camera. If it's on a GoPro, you're going to need that mod box, that media mod. If it's not, I don't know, I can't help you. I know that DJI do really good, I think they're called DJI. There's a secondary brand of cameras that I've been looking at. They're really good. They look awesome. I'd love to test one out. Quality wise versus the GoPro, they're very good in low light situations where the GoPro suffers. And, you know, and it's just get a camera, get on your bike, start waffling. That's all it is. It takes a long time to sort of get good at riding and talking, I think, because you've got to be engaging for one. Obviously, as a YouTuber, you've got to be engaging. If you're not feeling up to it, even don't shoot the video because it'll come across on post-production, oh my god, I could have sounded a little bit more excited about that. But it's tiring, and obviously if you're not a confident rider and you're talking and distracting yourself, you can have an accident as a motovlogger. So do not do this, you know, if you can't do it. Practice with no camera and just, like, you know, subject, just be like, oh, blah 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 blah. Hey guys, it's the Hungry Hornet 2 here. We're currently sitting at a stop intersection and we're stuck. It's wet and I can't see. If you're not good at ad-libbing or anything like that, it's going to be a difficult thing for you to do. So yeah, but it's as easy as just getting a camera. Get your camera. I say that, they're quite expensive, but get your camera, get a good memory card. I think the GoPro Hero 13 is incredible for battery life. I can record 2 or 3 15-20 minute videos on one battery. It's fantastic. I can stream live content, I can live stream my rides, I can do all sorts, so it's quite decent. The only knockback I'd say is it's shit in low light. It's really bad. Like, I've got to turn up on post-production, I've got to turn up all the lighting, I've got to turn up contrast, I've got to turn it all up just to make it look half decent, and even then it doesn't look that good. So, and people will comment, why are you riding without your light on? It's like, I'm not, it just doesn't turn up properly on the post-production. But yeah, so if you want to get into motovlogging, all you need is a bike, or even a bicycle. You can do cycle vlogging. A bike, camera, do it chin mounted, and a microphone that feeds in to your helmet that you can speak into clearly and doesn't pop, so it's got good sound quality and doesn't get much wind buffeting either. That's quite important, because wind can really ruin a video. I've had many videos where some of the scenes are so terrible because the wind buffeting, but if it's raining, you got, you know what it's like, you got to crack your helmet open slightly just to be able to breathe. Just go for it. Try your best, practice, and just release your videos. Don't follow trends. I was lucky, my Hornet and my purchase of the Hornet sort of springboarded my my popularity, if you like, because then I became quite focused and centric on the Hornet and nothing else really. But then I started to realise I got to branch away from just doing Hornet related content, because there's only so much I know about the Hornet. All I do is ride it. I'm not a mechanic, I don't know the ins and outs of every single thing about this bike. But I do regular updates on the Hornet, regular long-term reviews and stuff, and if you Google, you know, long-term reviews and stuff, my videos turn up. So that is SEO, you know, which is basically how people find your stuff. So if you're talking about stuff that matters, it's sort of in the zeitgeist and people are interested in it, you'll turn up in other things other than just YouTube search, you know, which is important if you want to grow your channel. It takes a long time. I've got 630 odd videos. Obviously a lot of them are shorts. I release 2 to 3 to 4 shorts a day, so that adds up quickly. But like long form videos, I've got at least 100, at least maybe 150 long form videos. So it takes a lot of effort. That's hundreds of hours. That's like hundreds of hours of editing and quite a few hours of content. I mean, I'd like to figure it out, but it's got to be, this is quite a horrible intersection. But yeah, it's got to be, you know, it's a lot of content. Not all of it's good. There'll be some videos that hit, some videos that miss, but at the end of the day, my sole purpose of having this channel is to entertain, and for me to also be able to look back at some of the stuff I've done. So that's all you got to do. Hope for the best, try your best, and enjoy the process, because that's the most important part. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, I've been the Hungry Hornet, you've been incredible. Remember, if you want to become a motovlogger, make sure you start recording. Peace!